Whether you're using a microscope to see the unseen world, or using beakers to mix chemicals to get a chemical reaction, or reaching out to the stars through a telescope, it's time for discovery and learning. It's time for hands-on science. Hands-on science equipment. There are a variety of instruments and tools used in a laboratory setting. Each of the pieces of equipment has a particular function. It is important to know the right piece of equipment to use whenever you are carrying out a laboratory investigation. The most familiar piece of lab equipment is the test tube. Test tubes come in a variety of sizes and are useful when you need to hold and study small volumes of liquid. A test tube holder is used to hold an individual test tube. A test tube rack enables you to hold and transport several test tubes at a time. A test tube brush is used to clean the test tube when you are through with it. Several pieces of lab equipment used to measure liquid volume are beakers, flasks, and graduated cylinders. Beakers and flasks are useful when measuring general volumes of liquid. There are two types of flask, a Florence flask with a round bottom and an Erlenmeyer flask with a triangular shape. The graduated cylinder is used whenever you want to make more accurate measurements of volume. There are other pieces of equipment used to measure in the lab. The digital balance is used to measure the mass of an object. The spring scale is used whenever you wish to measure the weight of an object. To measure temperature, you would use the thermometer. To measure lengths, you would use either a ruler or, for greater lengths, the meter stick. A ring stand can be used for a variety of purposes. It is called that because you can attach various sizes of rings onto it to hold material. You can also attach test tube clamps to it. Two pieces of equipment that are used to heat up materials are the hot plate and the Bunsen burner. If you have heated up a beaker on the hot plate, you would use tongs to remove it. When you want to light the Bunsen burner, you would use what is called a flint or a striker. If you are using a Bunsen burner to heat up a material on the ring stand, you would use one of two other pieces of equipment to hold the material being heated. One is a clay triangle, and the other is a piece of wire gauze. Two pieces of lab equipment that are ceramic are the mortar and pestle and crucible. The mortar and pestle are used whenever you want to grind up materials. The crucible is used whenever you want to heat up small amounts of chemicals using the Bunsen burner and ring stand. Two pieces of equipment that are used whenever mixing chemicals are a watch glass and a well plate, which consists of a series of small wells. A watch glass can be used to mix small amounts of chemicals. A well plate is used for whenever you are trying to demonstrate or examine more than one reaction and you don't want to use too much chemicals. Dissection requires its own equipment. Dissections are carried out in a dissection tray that holds the specimen being examined. To hold the specimen down, you would use a variety of dissection pins, either straight or T-pins. A scalpel is used to make your incision into the specimen. Tweezers, also called forceps, are used to pull back tissue as you cut it. To manipulate tissue, you would use a series of probes. Now you know what you are using when you get your hands-on lab equipment.